What's going on, guys? It's STG. Thought I'd do a video. I've been busy with my new job. Sorry about that. I kind of want to go back to a older format of doing more informative videos and less mail calls. I promise if you sent me something, I will get to it eventually. Please be patient. And without further ado, guys, let's dig into the topic. So I was basically watching Pajama Stacker's video the other day, and he was talking about the whole FTX scandal, and it got me thinking about crypto. Now, I got out of investing in crypto about a couple years ago, and I kind of had a little bit of background knowledge, especially in regards to blockchain technology. I kind of took a course in that, and so I kind of understand the technology behind crypto. And I also have a finance background, guys. I work in banking, and I just kind of foreshadowed. I thought this was going to be a big pump and dump. That's basically what it looked like to me. And I kept telling people the last couple years, don't invest in crypto, get out of crypto. And, you know, everyone basically just wanted to follow the trend. And I basically made a little money. I got out of it, and I haven't invested any since then. And now, people have lost a lot of money, and they basically invested in something that they knew little to nothing about just because everyone else was doing it. So if everyone is going to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, would you do it? Now, I'm bringing this up just to make a point. Um, Warren Buffett, whether you like him, love him, or hate him, I do admire one thing that he does and he says, and that is to invest in what you know. He only invests in things that he knows about or that he learns about. So if you don't really know about crypto, if you don't understand how it works, if you don't have a basic finance or economics background, then you probably should not be investing without the assistance of a financial advisor. Now, I say this, I am not giving any type of financial advice. This is just my opinion. I want to state this. Everything I have said and will be saying in this video, this is solely my opinion. And it is not to be uh, interpreted as any type of financial advice. So I'm just putting that disclaimer out there. So this video is intended to tell you how to invest in gold on a budget. Now that is the main topic of this video, and I'm going to be getting to that in a minute. So basically, like I said, don't invest in anything you don't understand, whether it's the tech sector, whether it's crypto, whether it's in real estate, and even precious metals. Do your due diligence, do your homework, learn about the market, the sector, whatever it is. Do your research before you invest in it. That's my advice. Now, the second thing is when it comes to gold. So basically, my strategy for investing in gold, I've mentioned it in a few other videos. I don't know if you guys have seen those. It's been a while, but what I do is I basically look at the 3-month price of gold. I take the high point, I take the low point, I determine the average price during that time, and I try to wait till gold reaches that low point in time. Now, what first got me into gold, as I mentioned in one of my my very first video, was I basically traded 3 gold coins, 2 double eagles, and an eagle for a watch. And that was about 5 years ago. And the prices of those coins basically doubled in that time. I'm not saying this to brag. But I'm just saying, at the time, I really didn't understand gold. I didn't understand precious metals so well. Since I was a young kid, I actually have followed the prices, mostly of silver, believe it or not. My father used to get the New York Times every day, and I used to check the price of silver. And I remember the good old days of silver being a few dollars an ounce. And every so often over the years, I would check the price of silver and gold. It always fascinated me. They always used to give the prices and show a historical chart of the prices. And I don't know. I always was interested. There was a movie, I believe, and I'm not gonna name that movie, and it involved gold Krugerrands, and at the time, I think that's kind of what got me interested in gold in particular, the appeal of gold. Uh, but anyways, so basically, my strategies for investing in gold on a budget is the first step is basically what you have to do is look at your budget for the month. Once you determine basically all your expenses, after what's left over, save a little bit aside for an emergency fund. And once that's set aside, whatever is left, take that money and either A, use it to purchase gold, or B, save it to buy maybe a larger piece of gold in the future. So once you do that, you have your money, you have how much you could spend, within a given month or time frame. The second step is doing your research. What type of gold do you want to invest in? So it all depends. Again, it goes back to your budget. How much can you afford to spend in any one given time? If you only have, let's say, maybe $100 within a month, then maybe you're going to want something like this. But if you have maybe $2,000, maybe you're going to want something like this. So it really depends, guys, on how much you want to spend in any given period of time. And the third thing is you have to keep in mind the premiums on what you're purchasing. So, for example, let's say you want something like this compared to something like this. Now, for something like this, maybe you'll pay it is an American Gold Eagle, which usually has a higher premium. But since usually the general rule is the larger the size, the smaller the premium. So in general, maybe you'll pay a 7 or 8% premium for something like this. Whereas opposed to this, maybe you end up paying a 15 to 20% premium over spot. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And also, as I just mentioned, you could get gold coins of comparable size. Both of these are approximately 1/4 of an ounce of gold. This one's a slightly less, but given that they're basically equal, this one will have a much higher premium than this one because this one is in a lot greater demand than this one. So that's another factor you want to consider. What type of gold do you want to sell? Now, a lot of people will tend to buy this instead of this because they feel that this is a lot easier to sell. And when you do sell this, you will get more money than this. But in actuality, no matter what the premiums you pay, usually, if you do not sell it to a dealer, let's say you sell it online to someone else who's you trust, then you're basically going to be able to pass on that premium you pay for this if you want to sell it, or even this. So that's another thing, guys. Another tip, if you're in the market to actually sell gold, then you probably do not want to go to a place such as a pawn shop, or just somewhere that's not reputable. You actually are more likely to get a better price at LCS, because they do have a higher turnover of something like this, whereas opposed to like a pawn shop is basically just going to give you scrap or a little bit less than scrap for the gold. So that's something to keep in mind when you're purchasing gold. Also, you have to consider a restrike of a coin. So basically, a coin could have a restrike, and it could also have a non-restrike. Now, the non-restrike might be significantly more valuable than the restrike. So you guys have to do your due diligence as far as if a coin has a restrike or not, and what the values of the restrike and non-restrike are. So that's pretty much it, guys. You basically want to look at when the value of gold is at a low point. You basically want to determine the premiums on the gold coins, and you basically want to try to purchase the coin that you have done your research on when the price reaches the 3-month low of gold price. That's pretty much my strategy. I don't exclusively use that. Sometimes I just happen to pick things up when the price is low out of nowhere. If you can afford to do that, if you have some extra cash handy and you decide to purchase gold, it's always a nice, pleasant surprise when the price is low and your LCS has a lot of nice gold in stock that you did not expect them to have. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed some strategies that I use when I purchase gold. Like, subscribe, and as always, stack that gold.